Welcome to the Tyler Werner Show, discussing all the latest in Philadelphia sports.
The 2017 NFL schedule is here, meaning it's that time where we go through the schedule for the Philadelphia Eagles, make some preliminary predictions as far as wins and losses are concerned, see the ebb and flow of the NFL schedule pre-draft. And speaking of the draft, it is just right around the corner with less than a week to go until we have the NFL draft here in Philadelphia. And I'll preface my take on the Aaron Hernandez suicide in saying that I'm sorry, this world is a better place without this convicted murderer who, regardless of being a biological father to his 4-year-old daughter, he's a convicted first-degree murderer. That forfeits any right to being a father. And that's very unfortunate, but unfortunately that's the reality. Or should be the reality.
And now, here's Tyler Werner.
Hey, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tyler Werner Show once again. Eagles schedule has come out. We're going to go through it. Again, preliminary going through of the schedule for fun. We realize that we're still several months away from the NFL season, let alone preseason. We still, not even till August, where we actually even have preseason football. We only have the draft coming up next week, so, I know, it's for fun. I don't care what people say. If some people want to write in their blogs like, "Oh, it's silly to go to," come on, it's sports talk. It's talkable. It's hard to believe we're already like 2.5 months removed from Super Bowl 51. It's just fun in the NFL. That's what we do, and we do it every year on the Tyler Werner Show at this time when the schedule comes out, and of course before the regular right before the regular season begins. So we're gonna do that. Carson Wentz spoke on Monday. We've heard in the recent weeks, we've heard from Howie Roseman during free agency. We heard from Jeffrey Lurie. We heard from Doug Peterson. And now, earlier this week, Carson Wentz spoke. We're going to hear from him. If you haven't heard audio already of a press conference of him during off-season OTAs that began earlier in the week. We got the draft coming up next Thursday, obviously, here in Philadelphia. Who's going out there? It's probably going to be chaos out near the stage, and just to get even near it. But if you're going, more power to you. It should be quite the event for Philadelphia here, almost as big as, when the Pope came to town, for crying out loud. And, of course, who do the Eagles pick at number 14? There are several options and possibilities, many of which it's hard to argue against them picking at 14. Preliminary, mock drafts that have been, maybe we'll take a look into those. I want to get out of the way, first and foremost, kind of the heavy topics here. And that is what has now been confirmed as a suicide of Aaron Hernandez. And unfortunately, I think it's been made out to be bigger news than it really should be in my view. But nevertheless, there's been all kinds of reaction on it. Let's face it. The guy, a convicted first-degree murderer. And you can say, he was acquitted of this murder or whatever. He won his appeal and that. Look, the first-degree murder that he was serving a life sentence in prison for. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter who he murdered. The situation was a first-degree murder. And the fact that he tried to appeal it, or whatever, that he is appealing it, when for crying out loud, he was secretly renting an apartment where he hid a lot of clothes in the same day of the murder when Odin Lloyd was found. He had destroyed his home security system. He turned over a destroyed phone to the police, and yada yada. His body was dumped a mile away from his house. It's just, come on. What evidence would he have had? Would Hernandez have had to overturn that? And now there's this whole technicality or whatever that, maybe Aaron Hernandez committed suicide because there's a loophole in the system where, since he appealed his first-degree murder charge or whatever that he's serving his life sentence for, now it becomes vacated or whatever because he's dead. And now the Patriots have to pay, the whole contract situation, that's all voided or whatever, that was voided. Now the Patriots would have to pay up due to this. And, whatever it was, $14 million. And it would go to his daughter. So he's maybe doing his daughter a good service. But, it's a bunch of crap. And then his family, whatever, he was... he may have been suffering from CTE. That's probably the whole reason for all this. No, maybe the guy's he was just a scumbag. How about that? With a bunch of charges of unlawful possession. He shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have had ammunition. Apparently that's the situation. Whether he killed this guy or that guy, the fact that I have to sit here and debate he's in this murder charge, that maybe he didn't murder. It's like the fact that we're talking about all this, he's got a laundry list of shenanigans, for crying out loud. So whether he murdered one person, first degree, or three, whether he's not guilty, I don't care. The guy's a glorified scumbag. And the whole, blowing kisses to his 4-year-old, that's a bunch of crap. Phony crap. I don't care. When you commit first degree murder, you forfeited any legitimate rights to being a father. I'm sorry. If you're a murderer, a first-degree murderer, you shouldn't be raising anybody. You shouldn't be having a kid. And maybe this and that happened after he had the kid or whatever. Before, I don't care. Because, and people want to say, it's a shame. The poor 4-year-old daughter's father just, killed himself or whatever. That's not the shame. The real shame is that her father was a first-degree murderer. That's the real shame. That's the real shame. Whether he's dead or not, that doesn't matter. It just boggles my mind. I don't care, and I don't. This isn't political or anything. This is just me looking at this. This is just logic to me. Because as far as I'm concerned, when this 4-year-old daughter's father, Aaron Hernandez, had unlawful possession of ammunition and weaponry and committed first-degree murder. That, to me, that's when her father died. That's when her father really killed herself. I mean, figuratively, I put it. Because again, you commit that ultimate sin, your life's over. You've really forfeited your rights. Any rights you may have had. If it gets to that point. To me, again, there's no excuse here. And yeah, I know the whole thing, like, in Massachusetts in 1984, they abolished the death penalty. So he avoided that. Otherwise, you know, hope you had a nice life. Committing first-degree murder. That's obviously, you know, just me being cynical there. But seriously. Come on, people. We want to like, oh, this is such a shame. I don't care that the world's, again. And this goes for any freaking murderer. First degree murder. Like, again, the circumstances here, a first degree murderer. That's really all I need to know there. You've thrown any rights out the window. And people want to say it's a shame that he's dead. All he's never. Good riddance. This guy should not be raising a daughter anyways. When you commit murder, the real shame is whether or not this daughter maybe has somebody who might be a real father figure. Because it's a damn shame. Because you know what? Yeah, maybe she's 4 years old. She doesn't even understand, unfortunately. Even though one day she would understand. And unfortunately, she's going to learn. Your biological father was a first-degree murderer. Let alone he was, you know, whether his double murder or whatever, whether he won that appeal, I don't give a damn. Because he's got a laundry list of shenanigans. And that's the real shame of it here. She's, like, sooner or later, she's going to grow up and my biological father, Aaron Hernandez, he was a first-degree murderer. And I was too young to understand when it happened, but that's really what happened. She's going to have to, like, that's the real crime. The real sad part about this whole thing. Not that Aaron Hernandez is dead now, that, oh, you know, she just lost her father. You know, the fake. I don't care. Like, seriously. The blow kisses. For what it's worth, it seems to me that as a first-degree murder, like, basically Hernandez was just freaking donating sperm. That's about all it was. And I'm not going to open up the can of, but unfortunately there are a lot of poor father figures out there. And this Hernandez is at the top of the list. When you're a murderer, that's how it is. And it's a damn shame. Because there are a lot of kids out there, unfortunately, that I can only pray have, you know, improved households that unfortunately don't have good father figures. And yeah, I feel for Hernandez's daughter, even though does she even really deserve to be called his daughter? Because what father figure is that? Seriously. I can only hope that her mother, you know, hopefully finds a man who can be a better father figure. And it's one of these things. Like, to me, it's not ideal when, unfortunately, the situation has been, especially when kids are young, where parents have to split up, or it's, it can be unfortunate. Sometimes it's for the better, but ideally, people, like, this is just a blanket statement. This is just a general statement, not to offend anybody or whatever. But the idea is you're financially stable, you're mentally stable, you're mentally prepared, you're mentally behind the idea of having children. And still, at the end of the day, down the road, maybe things won't work out between the mother and father, relationship-wise. And that's unfortunate. But all I can hope is that this daughter is raised, to the best of her mom's ability. And again, maybe a father figure comes in that will be a real father figure to her. Because unfortunately, there's this Aaron Hernandez murder and just laundry list of shenanigans and suicide now that's hanging over everything for her. It's a shame. It really is. That's the real shame. And that it's a privilege to play in the NFL. For crying out loud, to play for the New England Patriots, who went ahead and won 2 Super Bowls recently without Aaron Hernandez anyhow. And you go out and you can't handle yourself properly at all with guns, and you become a first degree murderer. Like, come on. It's a privilege to play in the NFL. And furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, for those in the PA area, many of us know about this too. This, on Easter Day, the man who randomly gunned down a Cleveland retiree posted the live video. Well, I guess it wasn't live, but it was nevertheless a video of the crime on Facebook, which was minutes later taken down by Facebook. Steve Stevens, again, it was like a 2-day multi-state manhunt. And he had claimed that he killed 13 other people, which they found that probably wasn't true. There was nothing that really made that true. But nevertheless, this guy kills an innocent old man who's just picking up aluminum cans. A good man, for all we know. And then the guy ends up killing himself after leaving the Good riddance for that. And then there's this mentality. This is on this article from 6ABC. And then here's what Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams said. This started with one tragedy and ended with another person taking their own life. We would have liked to have brought Steve in peacefully and really talked to him about why this happened. Are you kidding me? We would have liked to have brought Steve in peacefully? The guy's a freaking killer of an innocent old man picking up aluminum cans and posts a video of it on Facebook. The guy's a freaking screw up. And you would have liked to have brought him in peacefully. What are we, like, come on, seriously. Bring this guy in peacefully? He's a freaking murderer. For what? Because he had relationship issues, he was having financial issues or whatever. There are plenty of people out there in this world that have those issues and have had those issues. And they didn't go out and kill some innocent man because of it. and post a video and put it on Facebook and claim that they killed 13 other people. Give me a freaking break. Like, we can't, like, there's like no in between when it comes to, like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make this an anti-police officer thing. I know there's some great police officers out there who do a great job and who at times are, do some very heroic things. But this is just weak. We would have liked to have brought Steve in peacefully. The guy's a freaking insano. Bring him in peacefully? I mean, come on. Like, I watch a movie like Dirty Harry, and then I hear something like this. I'm like, dude, like, can we get a freaking Dirty Harry? This is where, get rid of the son of a bitch. Seriously. Bring him in peacefully. No, he's insane. For crying out loud. Just bring these, bring murders in peacefully. Come on. The way I see it, again, I don't care about I don't think of things politically. I take things on a case-by-case basis. I'm a glorified independent. Or individualist, whatever you want to call me. That's how I, but this is just weak. When you go out and you say, when you go out and kill an innocent man like that, and then you go on this, and you put it on Facebook, you claim you killed 13 other people or whatever. I mean, you're insane. And I'm sorry, but your life has become useless. I'm sorry. You've become a threat to society, to innocent people who are picking up aluminum cans. And that's what, before these people go insane. I mean, unfortunately, some people, they just snap like he did. But that's an odd way to snap. That's an extreme way to snap. You gotta have a little more control over yourself, for crying out loud. I mean, it's like we want to paint murderers out to be a saint. That they just snapped. Come on. There are plenty of sane people out there with problems, their own with financial problems, relationship problems. They figure it out. They get along. They move through things. They don't freaking go out and kill somebody who's innocent, who's just, again, picking up aluminum cans off the street, doing a good deed. All right, I'm done. We gotta hit a break here, and actually get on the Philadelphia sports talk. But I thought I'd just address these insane, insane murder situations or whatever. Like, it had to be addressed. I had to purge it all out here, because I think there's a lot of misguided thinking. And it's nothing politically driven or anything. Because by the same time, if anybody thinks like I just went on some kind of political spiel, no, I'm just being, constructively critical of the mindset of the people and of law. In the latter case here, and how we deal with murderers. By the same token, there were 33 New England Patriots who didn't go along into the White House visit, who are obviously, anti-Trump in what has been, such a polarizing election for legitimate reasons. And I'm not gonna fault, people for doing that. Brady, just hours before the visit, actually pulled out after, Darren Hernandez's suicide. I don't know if that was necessarily linked to it, but I don't know. But Brady didn't show to it.
Tommy didn't deflate those balls.
All right. It is the Tyler Werner Show. If you have any thoughts on this, you're welcome to share them. I can just picture it now, oh, you have a heart or whatever. Like, come on. I can picture it, but feel free to share your thoughts, because this is what discussion is all about here on the Tyler Werner Show. And on the other side, we're going to discuss some Eagles. How does that sound?
Gosh, it went great.
The schedule, Carson Wentz spoke. We'll get around to it right here in the Tyler Werner Show. We'll be right back after this.
I'll have some skirt steak, some brisket, little piece of that New York steak, a couple of them steak fingers, and a burger.
You've known for a long time that you were going to have to get real about fat or stay real fat. It didn't get that way by accident or by some outsider's doing.
Put some macaroni and cheese on there, too. Is there any chicken fried steak left?
Your weight just keeps creeping up or maybe even shooting sky high.
3 slices of pecan pie and 2 cups of coffee.
You have a decision to make. You know it, and so do I.
Yes, all right.
You need prescription diet pills or other diet aids to lose weight.
Investigators are calling it the heist of the century. The grand robbery of Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs, committed by some apparently hungry NFL officials who love their balls.
I came in Monday morning. I was shocked to learn of the news reports about the balls and the process that happened between when they were prepared and went to the officials and went to the game.
As shocked as Belichick was of the news, perhaps Brady, the last man out of the kitchen on that Sunday night, was even more shocked to hear of the news of the theft.
I have a process that I go through. It was the same process that I always go through. When I felt them, they were perfect. I wouldn't want anyone touching those. I would zip those things up and lock them away, and that's what I thought I was doing.
As Brady and Belichick up the ante on their ball security, you'll just have to pick up a pack of their meatballs the next time you hit the grocery store and enjoy just how perfect these balls really are.
Tom's personal preferences on his ball security are something that he can talk about in much better detail than I could possibly provide.
All right, we're back here on the Tyler Werner Show. After a whirlwind first segment there, get more into the sports talk here now. We had some heavy issues to address for obvious reasons. Maybe I blew a gasket. I don't know, but
Get some water.
yeah, I need to take a little sip of water here. Oh, man. Broke out in a little sweat after that. But, really, it has to be addressed. What a week it's been in the world of sports here. And Phil, again, eventful. We got the draft coming up next week. So, it's one of those things where we look forward to that. Get us hyped up here in Philadelphia. Who will the Eagles select? at number 14. And it's important in the second round to, how do the Eagles address these positions of need with new players that will be entering the NFL. I'm looking forward to it. So the NFL schedule, ladies and gentlemen, where we have all been waiting for in recent weeks to come out, and it has arrived as of Thursday, yesterday. And we will go down the schedule, and again, I briefly went over it last night after it came out. I skimmed through it, but I didn't keep track really of how many wins or losses. I'm guessing they're going to be a fringe playoff team. Not playoffs. Maybe not quite a wild card team, but right in the mix, which is, a step in the right direction. So let's go again, preliminary and keeping track here of wins and losses. Edition 1, I guess you could call it, going down the Eagles 2017 schedule here on the Tyler Werner Show. And so it begins week 1 with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Redskins in Washington. I don't think the Redskins are going to be very good this year. I don't know about you, but I think the Eagles, they get started on a positive note here and beat the Redskins. 1-0. Week 2, they go to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm going to say that's a loss. Chiefs, obviously a legitimate contending team. So that would put them at 1-1. Sunday, September 24th, the Philadelphia Eagles are hosting the New York Giants. And I'm going to say that's going to be a win for the Eagles. Going to be a competitive game. Eagles are 2-1. Next week, after that, October 1st, they travel to the San Diego Chargers 4:05 game. I think the Chargers are going to be a little better this year. I'm going to say that's a loss. Puts the Eagles at 2-2. Then the next week, they have a tough game at home, hosting the Arizona Cardinals. But I think they bring it back, they bounce back, and they beat the Arizona Cardinals. Might be Carson Palmer's last year, I don't know. But another tough game, but I think the Eagles pull it out. That puts them at 3-2. And then the next week, at the Carolina Panthers. That's a tough one. I think the Panthers are going to have a bit of a bounce back year this year. And they're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. So far, this is kind of coincidental, but I have win-loss, 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 win-loss. 3-3. Another primetime game after that. Monday, October. And by the way, that game against the Carolina Panthers, that is a Thursday night game. So quick turnaround after beating the Cardinals too. So then with the Eagles, with a little bit of extra preparation time, 11 days between games, a revenge situation for the Redskins coming to Lincoln Financial Field. But I think the Eagles beat the Redskins. I think they sweep them this year. I'm not feeling the Redskins this year. I think they're going to be the weak team in the division this year. they're going to take a step back. So a Monday night football game, Eagles win there. They're 4-3. Then, Sunday, October 29th, 1 o'clock game. The Eagles host the 49ers. Eagles, for the first time in the whole season, they win 2 straight games. That puts them at 5-3. Then the week after, they're hosting the Denver Broncos. That's a tough game. I think, at least. I think maybe the Broncos sort of bounce back this year to some extent. And come in and beat the Eagles. That will be the Eagles' 3rd straight home game, actually. The Eagles lose that game. They're 5-4. Then, bye week. Coming out of the bye week for a primetime Sunday night football game, the Eagles go to Dallas and lose that one. And now for the first time, they lose 2 games in a row in the season. They're 5-5. But after that, they host the Chicago Bears, and they beat the Chicago Bears. That will be weekend right after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving weekend, I guess we can just call it for all intents and purposes. Puts the Eagles at 6-5. And then Sunday, December 3rd. Here we go again. The Eagles go to Seattle. And they lose. They can't just go to Seattle and win. So that's a loss there. That puts the Eagles at 6-6. So now, here we are, 4 games left. The Eagles, they can't really afford to lose as far as playoff hopes are concerned. You know, it's kind of a struggle here. So here we go. At the Rams, I think they bounce back and beat the Rams. The Rams, they have enough. Now, this is going to be interesting how the Eagles handle this. Because you're talking about, 2 West Coast trips now. At Seattle and then at Los Angeles now that the Rams are in Los Angeles. And now they have the white horns. They're going to have the white horns on their helmet once again, kind of going back in time a little bit. So the Eagles beat the Rams. That puts them at 7-6. Then the Eagles at the New York Giants the following week. Revenge situation. But unfortunately, revenge situation for the Giants, so unfortunately, the Eagles lose to the Giants. That puts them at 7-7. That pretty much means, the Eagles are desperate. Like, they got an outside chance to make the playoffs at this point in the season. So now they got to take on the Oakland Raiders on Christmas night at 8:30 at Lincoln Financial Field. Tough trip for the Raiders. I think the Eagles win this. It's going to be a tough game, though. The Raiders, they could have beast mode out there by the looks of it. We'll see about that, but tough situation. But, I think the Eagles get it done and deliver a Christmas present of hope, I guess. That maybe, just maybe, their playoff hopes will still be alive, but I wouldn't count that the Eagles will ultimately make the playoffs. Even if they win, then on New Year's Eve against the Dallas Cowboys at home, Lincoln Financial Field, in a revenge situation, which I believe they will, and ultimately finish 9-7. So there you have it. my mock Eagles 2017 season 1.0, akin to the kind of the mock draft 1.0 or whatever, yada yada. So there we have it, 9-7, and I might again. Maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we'll do it after the draft, depending how the Eagles feel. I don't know. This is pre-draft. Again, I mean, right now as it stands, the Eagles' passing game should be much improved. Again, see what they do. See if they add at running back. See if they add at cornerback. See what they do in the draft. See if they add a defensive end or whatever. Remains to be seen. But right now, that's where I have the Eagles. And this is without really knowledge of what all these teams, what they're going to be doing the week before, whether or not they have a bye or whether they're coming off of a tough game and, that whole thing. This is all preliminary. But I had the Eagles finishing at 9-7, right about where I would think they would finish. Or where I thought they'd fit, or, just before the schedule came out. So yeah, that's really that. They got some easy games in there, hosting the Niners and again, some advantageous situations where they're hosting the Raiders on Christmas night. I wanted to say Christmas evening. Why not just say Christmas night at 8:30? How about that? Eagles playing on Christmas night against the Oakland Raiders. That's a good one.
Oh, man.
And then on New Year's Eve, 1:00 game to close out the season against the Dallas Cowboys. That should be fun. So, again, 9-7 finish. I had the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you go down this? Go down this schedule yourself. What do you have? This was all off the cuff too. I didn't have any preliminary. I skimmed through the schedule last night, but I didn't go through win loss or whatever and come up with a record like I just did here. So there it is. Coming up on the other side, we'll hear from Carson Wentz. Hear from the franchise quarterback, or at least that's what we hope he's going to be, and should be, with some newfound weaponry around him in the receiving corps. Year 2 for Carson Wentz should be a growth year for him. We'll hear what he's up to during off-season OTAs along with other Philadelphia Eagles on the other side, right here on the Tyler Werner Show. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for more right after this.
What is it about good sex that makes me have to crap? Guess it's all that pumping. Pump and dump.
Pump and dump. Never stop the pumping. Always keep her satisfied. Pump and dump.
You really jarred something loose, Tiger.
Okay, Rocco. Pretend I'm the girl that you want to ask out on a date.
How about maybe you and I, maybe we go out together, get something to eat, I don't know, maybe laugh a little bit, who knows, I don't know, would you like to maybe, you and me go out together? What do you think? Would you like to?
You need to make more eye contact and you sound way too nervous.
You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
Having a tough time asking out ladies? You need to see Clubber Lang for a lesson.
Hey, woman. Hey, woman. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I tell you what, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man.
Build confidence with the ladies like never before with Clubber Lang's dating services. The most highly recommended in all of the Delaware Valley.
I am ranked number 1. That means I'm the best.
right, we're back on this mega edition of the Tyler Werner Show. I don't know if you want to call it a mega edition, jam-packed show here. Eagles draft coming up next week, NFL draft. Eagles schedule just came out. Aaron Hernandez committing suicide because I know it was, it's such a huge deal to everybody. I could care less whether whether he's. Well, I just say whatever. I'm not. What am I going to shed a tear over it? And of course, off-season OTAs with the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz speaks earlier this week. What did he have to say to the media? Let's take a listen right here on this edition of the Tyler Werner Show.
Obviously, new weapons in the offseason, Foley, Alshon Jeffrey. Can you talk about when you heard that? What was your reaction?
Yeah, it's always exciting anytime you add new players, not just those guys, but up front as well, and just some other pieces on defense. So, anytime you can add players like that you think can really help the team, it creates a lot of buzz, a lot of interest, and it's a lot of excitement in that locker room.
Carson, working with the Candace coach and offseason out there, how much has it helped you up to this point? And also, was there ever any resistance from the organization about you doing it?
Well, first off, no, there was never really any resistance. I think coaches want everybody to go do their own thing, to whatever they think is going to help them get better. I thought it was beneficial. I don't think it was anything real specific, but just overall to help me just fine-tune some things and just kind of keep working at some things and making myself more efficient. I thought it was a productive visit down there.
Carson, did you go to Alshon today? And you guys had previously planned to work out with some of the players that got them scheduled?
Yeah, I did not throw today. No, we didn't really do any real work on the field quite yet. So
Right.
Not quite, no.
What did you fine-tune? You mentioned fine-tune some of your...
Yeah, just some simple things. Things to the naked eye you probably wouldn't notice, but a lot of it had to do with footwork and stuff. But again, it was nothing real mass overall, just trying to make everything more efficient and smoother.
Carson, during the season, you had said that you didn't see any mechanical issues or problems. When you went back and watched, did you then see those things, and is that what you worked on?
Not really. There's things here and there at times, but nothing really that was kind of big and evident that stuck out. I think it was just little things here and there. A lot of it might have been footwork and stuff, and just being confident with the timing within routes and concepts and everything, but nothing really jumped out at me.
Did you change anything with your throwing motion at all?
No.
A big point of emphasis from you and the coaches was to get away, to recharge. How effective was that during these past few months?
It was big. For me, obviously being a rookie, you guys are all familiar with that rookie year that is just kind of crazy, from combine and everything all the way through, and then being fortunate enough to start all 16 games. So to finally just get away and get a chance to breathe and relax and spend some time with friends and family, it was really big for me. But the last couple weeks I've been pretty excited to get back here, get back with some of these guys, some of these new faces, and get to work.
Carson, showing up now versus last year for the beginning of the all-season program, how is it different knowing that you're going to be the starter?
Well, mentally, it's a whole different ballgame. It's not coming in trying to learn a new playbook and be overwhelmed with that, as well as all the other things that come with being a rookie in a locker room. So coming in and having that confidence, already knowing the playbook, now I'm ready to really dive into it even more. Really understand and just grow with these relationships, with these receivers, with these tight ends, with everybody. I'm really, really excited about it.
Coach, right at the end of the season, they asked you to look at some film of prospects. What did you get from that? I know you're not going to say, I really wanted to draft so-and-so, but what kinds of receivers, did you see in this draft class?
Yeah,
did you see guys that would fit this system well?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of talented players from, receivers like you're asking about. A lot of talented receivers that could help, but I don't really know where it's going to go, and I don't have any input either. So I'm just excited to see what we add, whether it's offensively, defensively. Obviously, the draft being here in Philly, there's a lot of excitement for that as well. So it'll be a fun time.
I know you had a chance to work out with a few of those draft prospects. Do you expect the team to ask
what it was like and about those guys specifically? We'll see. A lot of those guys were just tied in with my agency, so when I was down there working out, getting some things done, those guys were available to go throw, and they were right there where I was working out, so that was the main reason why those were the guys I was throwing with.
About how many of them did you look at on film?
I don't know, a handful. I didn't watch too much in depth. I was honestly busy trying to evaluate my own game and our own system more than watching those guys.
How much talk to Alshon and Torrey going today? How often have you talked to them?
We've been in touch a little bit. I got a chance to be with Alshon, go out to dinner with him once, and Torrey and I never had officially met until today, but we've been in touch, talked on the phone a number of times, so I'm excited to work with those guys.
Carson, in the NFL, you make a big play, make a big jump from year 1 to year 2. What do you think that is going to mean to you?
Well, we'll find out. I think we'll find out, but I'm excited, just like I said earlier, the mental side of things, being comfortable with the environment, knowing what to expect type of thing. The playbook, obviously, now just being able to take that knowledge to the next level. I'm just really excited to make that jump and get to work here.
Doug talked the day after the season about the jump most quarterbacks make from year 1 to year 2. Do you see just your familiarity with the playbook and just being here and being a pro translating into a big jump for you?
Well, I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I've always held myself to high expectations, and last year, at the end of the day, we finished 7-9. That's not good enough. That's never going to be good enough for me or for anybody in this building. And so I fully expect us to all, make strides and, hopefully be playing into January.
This is your first phase 1. What are some of the goals these next 2 weeks for you, for this team? What do you want to get out of this period?
Yeah, I think, obviously we're limited on time. We're limited on time, how much we can be around each other and everything, but just kind of get back into things, get back into the swing of things, working out, obviously get better in the weight room on the field, then also just back in the film, really diving into it more and the installs with coaches and everything, and like I said, just kind of take my game to the next level, not only physically, but mentally with the film and everything.
Carson, how much more can you see on film now, in your second year as opposed to your first?
I guess you notice things a little differently. You see things differently now going through it for a whole year, going back and obviously knowing the playbook that much better, and now just being able to really focus in on defensive tendencies and those types of things. You really pick up on things quite a bit more, but at the same time, I felt very prepared last year, especially the second half of the year was really just things were already starting to slow down.
Carson, you took the time off. You took the time off after the season because the coaches wanted you to just let your body rest. How much better or different does your body feel now with taking that time off at the end of the season?
Yeah, body feels good. Body feels good right now. Obviously towards the end of the year, taking some shots to different things, but the body was holding up really well for the season as well. I'm very, very thankful and fortunate for that, but obviously taking the time off and then, getting back into it, the last couple months here, body's feeling really good.
Carson, you spoke last year about leadership and how it would happen organically. Coming back in here, do you notice the players are now looking at you a little differently because you are the starting quarterback?
Yeah. That type of stuff will still happen organically. It's just kind of my personality. But it was only day 1 here. We haven't been on the field yet or done anything, so we'll kind of see. But at the same time, I think we have we definitely need lots of guys to continue to step up their leadership and start pushing this thing in the right direction.
Hey, you spoke about your body, but the right arm specifically. How is it now? And was the elbow a problem at the end of the year?
The elbow never was. No, it was usual general soreness that happens, but nothing ever of concern ever came up. The arm's feeling great. The arm felt great all season. So yeah.
You don't have Chase Daniel riding shotgun with you. What sort of impact do you think that could have?
We'll find out. I have a lot of confidence in Nick. I getting to know him already. Guys have a lot of really good things to say about him, and then now Matt coming in as well. I think we have a really good quarterback room. Seems like we got a lot of smart individuals in there. So obviously missing Chase, he was a big part of it. Knowing Doug's offense the way he did, and he was a professional and a veteran, and he helped me a lot. But at the same time, this is kind of the nature of this business. So I'm excited to work with these other guys.
After going out to dinner with Alshon and being able to talk to him a little bit, what have you discovered about him? What have you found out about your guys' rapport?
Yeah, no, Alshon's great. Getting to just eat dinner with him and get around him. He's a quiet guy. He's a quiet guy, but I've seen him on film, and we talked about some of the things he can do on the field. So I haven't got to know him too much quite yet, but I am excited to finally get out there and throw with him.
Did you go back and watch some Alshon film after the Eagles?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Do you feel even more pressure on yourself in year two because it is year two and they're trying to surround you with better weapons?
Not really. No, I don't really like to put pressure on myself. I just let things happen, and like I said, I hold myself to high expectations and high standards. So the pressure from the outside is never what really gets to me. It's I put a lot of pressure on myself to be great, and I'm gonna continue to do that.
What is it when you get away from the complex here with other players this summer, and what players are going to be joining you?
You're talking in the summer?
Yeah, when you get away from
the 5 weeks we had off.
away from the building here.
I don't know yet. We have some plans a little bit, but I got to talk to a lot of these receivers and stuff and see what we want to do for the summer.
Hey, Carson, what specifically do you want to get better at in 2017?
Just consistency. I think just being consistent with accuracy, with just everything. Just being more comfortable with that, and then I want to win. I want to win, and like I said, 7 and 9 is not going to make the cut. So that's what we got to improve on.
Did you meet specifically with Doug and the coaches today, or is that permitted the first day?
Yeah. We had just a group meetings and stuff.
There wasn't anything from Doug. Did he have a message for you and talking to him?
Not really anything specific. Didn't really get that chance, just with the amount of time we had today and having to do some stuff with the weight room guys and all that stuff. So nothing real specific yet.
Doug talked to us about he wanted this to become your team. He wanted you to really step forward as the leader and the voice of the Eagles. Has he mentioned that to you at all, and how does that strike you?
Hasn't directly said that to me. But at the same time, as the quarterback of this team, you got to kind of accept that role and run with it. So, I'm gonna, like I mentioned to Jeff earlier, I'm gonna let it all happen organically and just still be myself, and it all kind of just take care of itself.
Carson, you say 7 and 9 doesn't cut it. What does?
Making the playoffs, winning the division, and then just seeing what happens. That's obviously the number one goal is winning the East, and that's what we have our sights set on. But at the same time, we got a long way to go until then.
Last year, you were in the middle of the draft process. Years from now, what about that time do you think will stand out in your memory? What moment meant the most, or just had an impact?
Hard to say. I just remember being tired all the time. It was an exhausting time. You're flying around everywhere. You're working out all the time. Just being tired, but also mentally, because you have no idea what's happening. It's a big question mark. And then finally, I'll never forget the draft. I'll never forget that night hearing my name called, knowing I was an Eagle, getting to spend it with my friends and family. That time, it still gives me chills talking about it, just realizing how much my life changed that night and how fortunate I really am.
In strength and conditioning, did you focus on did you feel like that was something you needed to do in terms of gaining more strength to withstand the haul over the season, and are you stronger now?
My body's feeling good. I don't think physical strength is really a big thing I'm lacking. I think it's just kind of just functional strength and just continuing to develop that. And obviously you're always working on your speed and conditioning and quickness and stuff, because everybody else is. So you got to continue to get better, and I'm never satisfied. I want to just keep getting better as well.
Are there enough pieces here to realize your goals of going to playoffs and competing for the NFC East?
Without a doubt. We truly believe we have the pieces in place, and we got a lot of work ahead of us here. It's early, it's April still, but we truly believe that, and we're gonna put the work in and get it done.
You had a bit of a reputation as a gunslinger coming into the league. Are you looking forward to airing it out a little bit more in year two?
We'll see what happens. Honestly, it's. All that. We'll just have to see what happens.
Of course, you spent a lot of time in the city of Philadelphia, out at games, etc. Was that important to you to get to know the town and what are your impressions?
Yeah, it's a great city. Every time I get a chance to go out and just kind of experience something new, see some of the things, go to some of the other sporting events, support the teams here. I truly enjoy being here. I feel like it fits me, fits my personality, and I just love this place.
When you did the breakdown of the film on the wideouts,
Did you go into real detail for the Eagles? Did you give them like one sentence on each guy, or did you give them like 3 pages?
Not really, no. I mean, we couldn't be in contact for the last couple months, so I was just kind of doing it myself and just trying to see what guys were out there and all that, so nothing real specific.
Thanks, Carson.
Okay, thanks everybody.
All right, so there was Carson Wentz on, I believe it was Monday morning, addressing the media. I mean, not a whole lot of intriguing things to say, but what stood out to me, it's kind of like, how 7-9 last year wasn't good enough, and, kind of a little different to what you heard from Jeffrey Lurie a few weeks ago at the owners' meeting, where, he kind of, like Jeffrey Lurie kind of like I understand, like we have building, we have a lot of holes to fill and yada yada. Whereas Carson's, kind of like, we have a lot of potential, and 7-9 is not good enough. So it kind of stood out to me a little bit. But again, Carson, he's not, let's face it, he's not Mr. Personality right now. I don't know if it's still because he's still the rookie quarterback. He's not very experienced yet in the NFL. He's, the quiet guy from North Dakota and yada yada. But it is what it is for now. And we will see what next week. We got a lot of draft talk to get into, as the NFL draft is upon us. Who the Eagles take? Did they take Dalvin Cook? Did they take Mike Williams? Did they take Christian McCaffrey? We'll hit it all next week, as we'll have heavy draft talk on the Tyler Werner Show. And we are right here in Philadelphia. Will be the NFL draft. Should be a good one. If you're going down to it, let me know here in the Tyler Werner Show, as it should be quite an event. You could share your experiences and going to the draft and what you see. It might be chaos out there, but we'll see how it all turns out. So with that in mind, that is going to close down this edition of the Tyler Werner Show. Really start off with a bang there, but quite frankly, it was a bit necessary as far as I'm concerned, and really that's pretty much where we're at here. Facebook.com/Tyler Werner Show is where to catch podcast postings, share thoughts on them, or on the YouTube videos or in the YouTube channel itself. Share your thoughts. Well, on the Eagles schedule preliminary, if you go down it for fun and pick wins and losses, or what you think the Eagles should do with the draft. Your thoughts on Carson Wentz and your thoughts on the whole Aaron Hernandez saga. My thoughts, simply, I just leave you with this.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll talk to you next time on the Tyler Werner Show.